Hey guys, it's Chris here again. Welcome back to another episode of Coaching Conversations. If you are struggling in any way with handling objections in your sales process, then you're going to want to watch this video. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Coaching Conversations with Nick and Chris from UpCoach. Nick, how are you going today?
Very good, sir. I'm actually coming to you live from the metropolis.
Live from the thriving metropolis of Sydney.
That is not a backdrop. That is not.
There's no fake Zoom backdrops in this coaching conversation.
I got my coffee, see?
The real coffee.
Aqua Minerale.
Real water too. Awesome.
Yeah.
Very good. Today, guys, we want to talk about sales and, more importantly, sales-based objections. Now, lots of people don't necessarily enjoy selling. In fact, some people in business actually hate it. But it's funny. It's one of those things that you absolutely need to do in order to grow your business and propel the level of sales that you have coming in. However, a lot of business owners don't work on improving their sales skills. So they'll keep selling based on what they know, and they don't expand that knowledge at all. One of the biggest issues that business owners face is the objection handling techniques. And it's that rejection based position where business owners don't like the rejection, so they kind of steer away from selling. And sometimes that's the fear that holds them back. Today, I want Nick to actually break down how people can prepare to handle objections in their sales process. So Nick, what's your advice around that?
I think, first of all, most people, like you say, most business owners either fear it, or they don't study it, or they don't like it because it feels really visceral. When somebody rejects you, it feels like, you've been kicked out of the cave and they're not letting you back in, right?
Yeah, get out. That's it.
But way back then,
Yeah.
What do you mean I can't, hop in under the shelter? It's cold out here. And it brings back visceral memories, I reckon, for us at that level. So first of all, you've got to understand that it's not you they're rejecting. It's just the situation is being rejected. Now, I've got a really easy cure for this. The word objection to me sounds a bit, hey, learn the objections. It sounds a bit 80s. It's, Gordon Gekko offices and greed is good. And it feels a bit like that, where what I've done is I've changed objections to concerns. Because concern just feels a little bit more manageable, even for me. Mm-hmm. And I get it. I mean, I've been selling for a long time, and, if you want to call it objections, you can. So I object, but object feels so finite. You know what I mean? It feels like it's in your face. It feels visceral. Where concern, you understand people have got a concern, and you're trying to deal with it. It's like if you got some news from a doctor and they said, hey, you better pack, you better get back to your family because you got, 1 month to go. It's finite. There's no coming back. But he said, if they said, hey, I've got some concerns, you've got to deal with these concerns, let's have a look at them. It just feels less blunt, blunt fork trauma, that type of thing. So I think concerns is kind of it. Now, I reckon the only thing you need to do is about 4 or 5 concerns. And usually around business, they're always going to be the same. It's money, time, color of product, anything that's related to you. When can I get that mattress? Is the warranty going to be really good? Geez, I saw it cheaper somewhere else. I really want that new car, but, has it got those features? Or, the other car's got better features than yours. Why should I buy the BMW instead of the Mercedes? They're always pretty much the same, right? So if you work on 4 or 5 key concerns, I think that's really good. That's where you should start. So most people you need to learn a lot. They're always the same ones. So how do you know which they are? Just think about everything that you've sold in the past and go, hey, well, what are the 4 or 5 that have come up over and over and over again, right? Is the coaching program for me? That's a concern. Oh, geez, it's money. That's a concern. Oh, 12 months, that's a long time. That's a concern. These are all concerns that we deal with in our, everyday sales. Right? So that should be it. Now, so that's kind of number 1. Deal with 4 or 5 key concerns. Now, here's how I like to position it. The second part to this is, are they value-based or physical-based? And here's what I mean by that. Is it a value-based concern? And a value-based is usually around somebody's value set. So is this legal? Isn't it legal? That's very value-based.
Right.
It looks very expensive. That's value-based. Somebody's gone, these things shouldn't be this much, or don't spend any money like this, or try to do it all yourself. Value-based. Is somebody else going to judge me if I go ahead with the coaching because it feels like, I can't do it myself? So value is judgment. If I went ahead with that couples counseling, is that going to bring up things sexually that make me feel uncomfortable? Values-based. These are all value-based. And you know it, because values always feel a little bit like the rubbing you the wrong way feel to it, right? That's
Sure.
number one. You need to address that because it's value-based. You need to address it in a particular way. No, it's very common that couples have counseling like this. To be honest, it's very intimate. It's between us. There's no recording of this. Nothing stays here. I'm happy to sign a disclosure, a disclaimer that, do you see you're dealing with that? With us, where it comes to money, value-based, is anybody going to know my figures and what they do? No. We'll sign a non-disclosure. We'll keep everything confidential. These are very important. Now, and it's physical-based. It's something like, I don't know if the software is going to work for me. Physical base, that, I don't really like that type of color bond. Maybe I need to go with something else. Have you got another option? I know you're telling me that's this, but I just don't like that color.
Right.
I think about it as it's almost like, touchy-feely type, or, when I come in for that operation, look, I don't know if I should be paying the gap here. That's what I've got my Medicare for. Kind of physical-based objections. Today I've got to, pick up my car. It's going to be X amount for service. How much is that going to be physical-based? If they're like, we could have done all of these other things to it, I'm probably going to, there's a concern. No, I don't really need to spend it right now. Physical-based around, cost or time or whatever it is, right? Think about it.
Right. Sure.
So those two are really, really important. And I'll tell you why, because the reason I'm breaking this down like this is if you can compartmentalize selling, which is communicating, but take it from objection, to concern, now you can really get good with those key ones. If somebody says, I don't know, you're selling paint protection for a car, you can go, if it's a value-based thing where they're like, I don't really see kind of value in this. I don't know if it's good. You can go, well, hey, let me just ask you, is it the money part of it, or is it because you don't know enough about the product? Well, but if you did know, you can't scratch it, if hail comes up and whatever, it's like paint protection, if it's in a dust storm, it's cool, it keeps the car cleaner, you don't have to wash it as much. You can deal with any of those kind of objections, and I remember when they were selling that no water shampooing for your car. We had drought like 10 years ago or whatever. You could spray this foam on it and you just wipe it off and it cleans the car just as much as like if you washed it or whatever.
Wow.
But people didn't see value in it because traditionally everyone just washes the car, you take it to the car wash guys. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's still using the most rarest of the commodities that we have on the planet, and that's called water. We're still flushing toilets with water instead of, using grey water that we've used in the shower and store it, use it for the toilet. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of crazy things because we've learned. So you're also dealing with human psyche and, without getting too hardcore, mimetic patterns in people's minds to go, no, my dad always drove a Ford. There's no chance I'm going to buy this Holden. Even though that you like the Holden, there's a vibe behind it. Think about it like that. So value-based or physical, really, really important. And then number 3 is the best way to handle an objection or, a concern is if you don't even need to handle it at all, or you've handled it previously. And here's what I mean. Before somebody connects with you in any transactional process, somebody goes, hey, I'm interested in this water, or I'm interested in, buying this phone or whatever it may be. If you can handle that in their correspondence that they've seen or the lead up to when they've reached out, it's really cool. So in your marketing, a really good way to be clever with it is actually to handle the concerns inside there. And let me give you an example. If somebody's looking for, building a house, as an example, handling things like, all our houses come with 10 years warranty, and, unconditional, repairs over the next, 10 years in your house. Anybody that's had that concern, do I have a warranty? What happens if something breaks down? You've already handled it. So people are already kind of aware. And that could be in something like a FAQ. It could be, the 10 things you need to know when purchasing a home with us booklet. It could be a video that says, hey, here are the 10 key questions that most people ask us. Why is the approval stage so long?
Right.
Whatever. Oh, well, because, we make sure that we test and measure, make sure that council doesn't miss out on anything. We'd never want to start your build and then council comes back with 10 things, that we didn't meet. All of these type of things, I think, are really, really important areas that you can actually handle prior to that coming up. So then when somebody connects with you, you can literally ask them the question, hey, just so my intention is to make sure that if you've got any concerns, see, I'm floating that straight up. Do you have any concerns that I can deal with? Have you had a look at our booklet, FAQ, download, video, audio, our client contact manager, have they been speaking to you already?
Right.
And same as an example with us. So if I'm going to have a sales call with somebody already, one of our team members has already had chat to them about what their turnover is, what their expectation is. And it's important to connect with the client that there isn't any hidden kind of concerns that they may have just because they're the wrong client. I think that's important as well.
Yeah, sure.
Because in your marketing, if you handle the concerns, it actually filters the client as well. And, as an example for us, if a client's making $50,000 a year or $100,000 a year or whatever, it doesn't matter how much we're going to be talking about money, as in, the objection or the concern about money. That's not the ideal client for us. So it makes the whole scenario kind of awkward, because then they're like, oh, I can't afford this, or there's no chance I can see that. I'm not even making that, and that's what you're charging me for it. You know what I mean? Like it's doing a lot of things pre the concern phase, because most people think that it's only when you ask somebody for the business is when, oh, there's objection. Let me think about it. Let me do whatever.
Right.
But if you've already handled the process, let me think about it as a value-based concern. I need to ask others for approval before I can make a decision, because let me think about it is I don't even trust my own decision, or it's almost like an auto response to something going, I'm so programmed that's like when somebody goes, hey, can I help you? Automatically you go, no, I'm just looking. It's like, even if you need help, you always go with the I'm just looking usually.
Sure.
So you see a lot of those concerns can be handled like that.
So to clarify, you want to try and answer those concerns and overcome those concerns by sending them material of any sort, whether it's video, case studies, frequently asked questions, answers.
Pre-engagement in your marketing. Yeah, very
Right,
much
through that kind of pre-sale or nurture process before you're even having the dollars conversation. Is that correct?
Or before you're asking them for the business. Because at the end of the day, just think about it. It's you're trying to get closer to the sale, because the only way that you can help somebody with your product or service is if they purchase from you, unless you're giving free advice, which we give a lot of free advice. Obviously, we want to make sure we help first. That's our goal, And sooner or later, you've got to ask the question. Sooner or later, you will say, hey, are you ready to go? Well, sooner or later, do you want the car? Do you want, it's all like, we can beat around the bush a lot, but, sooner or later, you got to, right? And if you've kind of addressed a lot of that, here's one key tip for everybody. If somebody's understanding of what the process is about to be, they get a heads up, they feel more comfortable than walking into the lion's den.
Right.
In a sales situation, don't want to confront a salesperson, be it male or female, because they're not quite sure what's coming. Oh man, they're going to try to sell me. I'm going to feel awkward. It's all of that stuff, isn't it? And this is why, by the way, things like online dating apps, whether it's, I don't know, like Tinder, or I don't know what, like any of the other online dating apps, they make it easy because they put a bridge between people and go, you sort of get to know the person a bit. You can SMS them a bit, find out their profile, hang out with them, know a bit more about them before you rock up and it's like, you know, a Dr. Jekyll that you weren't expecting, or some, you know, sleazy guy or whatever.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, so, and that's what they've done, that because the element of surprise in that scenario isn't cool. Now, if you're at a birthday party and somebody threw a surprise birthday party, that's kind of cool, right? Like, it's the enjoyable part of it. Oh, well, I didn't know that all of these people. Now, if you don't like surprises, that's, you know, like dropping a bomb in, right? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
in sales, I feel that if you can tell somebody, hey, here's the 7 things you need to know when, or to prepare you for our conversation. Here's questions that you may want to ask. Here's questions that other people have asked and we've given answers for. Then it just becomes a bit more smooth sailing. You're kind of cool and they get it. Now, if somebody looks at that and they go, oh, you know, none of my values match with these guys. Oh, they look like they're going to be really expensive. That, you know, then it's cool. They won't even engage. And the worst case in selling is trying to sell something to somebody that A, isn't ready for it, B, doesn't see value, or C, hasn't got any money. Like, it's 3 strikes that it's hard to recover from, you know, like, and that's
right.
why a lot of people, like you're saying, business owners don't, you know, interact with it because they're dealing with the wrong populace. What's your best client? The guy or girl that loves what you do, know about you, can see massive value and absolutely need the product. And they got the money. Win, 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 win all the way. And you know that transaction. That's when they're cool. Hey, man, I've been checking you guys out for 2 years. I absolutely am ready for it. The price doesn't even come into it. They're like, oh, when can we get going? And I've got a rough idea on how much you're going to be anyway.
Yeah, very good. Yeah,
you don't play a Porsche if you got $5.
That's right.
You can dream about the Porsche, but you're not going to buy it.
Yeah,
you know,
when they don't have the price tag in the showroom, you know that it's going to be a little bit more expensive.
You know what? Ferrari do it perfectly, right? I love that. Ferrari never advertise, but they sell cars because people already know what the whole routine's going to be. Yeah, a mate of mine just bought one, right? But probably about a year ago, 680 grand or something like that. It's a monster, this thing, right? But you know, the first conversation was, hey, you know, are we good for the money? He's like, yeah. You know you're going to be putting $100,000 down today, right? Yeah. And you know the car's going to be 2 years before you get it. Yeah. And you know you're going to pay it 6 months before it's done. It's there. Yeah. And you're going to be flying to Italy, to Modena to sit in so we can make sure that the seats are cool or whatever. You know. But people that love that shit. They're looking at the catalog, they talk to all their other mates, they're doing that, and it's that hype of excitement. I travel on your dollar to Italy to sit in the car that they're building for you, and you're still 6 months away from getting it to drive it. By the time you've purchased it to drive it, you've lost that excitement of driving a car. You don't go in and just go, I'm going to drive it out tomorrow. It's a 2-year process. And now even longer for COVID, and your partner was 650 grand. Instead, you go in the Hyundai, you go, yeah, that one, put the number plates, I'll come and grab it. I'm going to go and grab something to eat, I'll come and grab it later. Yeah. You know, it's totally different. You know what I mean, Borg?
Very different.
If you buy that type of car, you got the money. You don't need the finance.
That's right. That's exactly right.
That's
yes. Very good. So those kind of 3 key areas. Number 1, it was make a list of the objections or the most commonly asked objections, let's call them concerns, that you that occur within your sales conversations. Number 2, I really like what you said, Nick, break them down and determine whether they're value-based or physical-based. I think that's extremely critical. And understanding those actually helps you create solutions at a deeper level to actually get people closer. Yeah, get people closer.
Because money isn't just about money, it's at a deeper level.
That's exactly right. And once you've done that, the last point again, I want you to wrap that up for us.
Yeah, is, you know, I think handle all the concerns, as many as you can, in your pre-engagement marketing. So if you can answer the questions in the marketing, like, you know, 7 commonly asked questions when building a house, or, you know, 8 things that you didn't know about, you know, building a house or whatever, and you can answer all of those. It just gives people a heads up of the process and step by step what's going to happen next. You know, we're going to engage, you're going to ask you some questions, I'm going to handle any concerns that you may have, I want to make sure you're good, then we'll take it to the showroom or come to the show. You know, it's a step by step process.
Fantastic. Great. Guys, and if you have any questions about anything to do with handling concerns or anything to do with sales, reach out to us at askitupcoach.com.au. Nick, thank you so much once again.
No problem.
Coolio, and we'll see you all again next week. Bye now.
Bye now.